Hi, I wanted to have a very relaxed conversation with you about where I'm going with my work now and in the future, and then give you a few options to look at if what I'm talking about really inspires you or you want to know more about it or be a part of, whatever it is. Okay, now, for a long time, I'm 68, for 51, 52 of those years, I've been growing and evolving very semi-consciously initially, and then very deliberately and consciously, and in a very particular flow throughout my whole life. And in the process, I've seen the best of the best. And I've taken some of the stuff that's been around for hundreds, even thousands of years, and used my skill for innovating things to a level of excellence, to innovate them and take them to a whole new level. And without going into all the details of my life story, that's been something that has helped me develop an incredible resource of experience, insight, unique techniques that I've developed myself and tested over decades with thousands of clients and in various presentations. And at the age that I am, a long time ago actually, about 17 years ago, I decided to leave a legacy. And I'm very much now standing at the edge of taking that legacy globally. And to do that, it has to work in the real world, and it has to be authentic for me. You can't just, well, maybe you can, but I can't, just make up some legacy and decide to get out there. And I mean, at my age, it's like you're past the need to get your ego satisfied or to prove to the world something that you may have when you're younger. It's more about how can I give of who I truly am, and how can I give real value to people in a way that benefits them. It's not about me getting loved and appreciated anymore. I've had tons of that, and I'm sure I'll have tons more. And I've never been at a better place for that in my life at the moment. And now it's about being loving. It's about how can I give of myself to the world in a way that will really make a difference to you who's watching and anybody else, and as many people as it's appropriate for me to do so. And so this is being recorded in, the second half of April. Very powerful time, 2017. A very, very powerful time of real change in the world where you're having to see things as they really are. March was a pretty powerful month, but April was like, wow, you've just got to see the reality of things and die to the past. Whatever's no longer relevant to you, die to that and turn to and embrace the future. And it's not just for people who watch these sort of videos or anything like that. It's happening globally in the world, politically, technologically, in business, in personal lives, in cultures. It's just happening everywhere. And here I am with a massive amount of resources of experience and innovation, at the best level that I can bring them to. And so I've been stepping back and going, what's been blocking me from taking this further? Because that's important to address at any stage. And where can I step beyond where I've been? And truly, what is it that I have to offer that's unique to me? Because I often work with people who are trying to figure out what they're really doing in their life, or how they can do what they love to do in a much more effective, or call it heart-centered, or, a way that just works in real life, where they truly enjoy what they're doing and feel satisfaction and success and peace and delight as a natural consequence coming from within inside of them. So I've stepped back and I've looked at all the things that I've developed, and part of it has been my upbringing and studying science and then getting an honours degree in geology and geophysics. So I know how to work as a scientist. I've been trained, and I've also worked in scientific jobs. I've taught. I've had a lot of experience in being on the cutting edge of change. I was one of the original hippies in Australia. I was even at the place it started in Australia 8 months before it even started. You know, I mean, I won't go into all the details, but there's a huge amount of experience, 40 years worth or more, 45 years worth of being on the cutting edge of growth and change and the way things have developed. And I've seen a lot, and I've seen what works and I've seen what doesn't work. You know, I've worked in business. I've worked for the government. I've worked on my own. I've taken numerology and innovated it to a completely new level. Same thing with astrology and using it for relationships. You know, the numerology helped me really identify what the essence is of what people have to offer, both consciously and unconsciously, and what's the bottom line stuff they must have, non-negotiable. Otherwise, it's like a car needs, well, current day cars anyway, most of them still need petrol and oil. You know, it's non-negotiable. You've got to put it in, otherwise the car just stops. Or batteries or hybrids or whatever. And the astrology helped me really get a focus on what's a person's direction in life and really take that to an incredible level of clarity, both in terms of their personality and in terms of their body and how that works together. And it also helped me take the old thing of, you know, sun signs and relationships and all that to a completely new level where you're able to identify the bottom line, or I'm able to identify the bottom line difference between people, so that they've got a framework to start the relationship, to set it up so there's a, you know, chance of getting out of it the best you can get out of it. And I've written e-books, books on all of those. A book on the numerology and applying it to sport and all sorts of stuff like that. And then I took the Enneagram and took that to a whole other level by innovating stuff that I learned from human potential and metaphysics and spirituality, which I've studied in depth with the best of the best in the world for 35 years. So there's all of that experience, and I've applied what I learned to business, you know, designing mattresses, you know, interior decoration using crystals, helping people with their sport. I mean, there's a whole variety of things. And then 9 years ago, I came across human design. And that was the first thing for the first 7 or so years. I didn't have to innovate it. It was, wow, this is extraordinarily deep and tons of information. And I went through the phase of trying to study the hell out of it until I realized that you need enough information from human design to apply it, and then living your design is what teaches you more than any book. And then you can keep referring back to the material based on your experience, and it clicks and it makes sense for people. And I'm 9 years into that, and I've really got an urge to honour the work that was done by the founder of human design and the initial people who worked with it by taking it to a whole other level. Someone once said to me, you know, the way to honour your master or your teacher or whatever is to supersede them. not to look down on them or anything, but to take whatever they've shared with you and take it to a whole new level. And I've felt that, and I've been looking at ways of doing it, doing programs like Human Design for Innovators and Entrepreneurs, which is now in its second iteration. You know, a 6-month program that introduces the benefits of human design, not just the theory, but the real practical benefits of human design to people who are on the cutting edge, innovators, entrepreneurs, people who really want to make a difference. And then the follow-up program to that human design consciousness, which is really using human design to tap into who you are as a unique individual and to be able to share that with the world. Really, you know, the first program is about, fundamentally human design is about making great decisions and knowing how you're designed to operate in the world, and really getting down to how do I make decisions that truly work and make a real difference in my life. And then getting into the experience of that and seeing how incredibly effective it is versus trying to figure out things with your mind. And then realizing that the whole process liberates your mind to do extraordinary, you know, not to be burdened with trying to figure out your life, but to do the things that minds do: vision, dream, imagine, come up with great options, make choices, all sorts of incredible things. But your decision-making process tells you when to act upon any of those ideas and dreams and visions. So the energy is right, and you get the timing right when you do it. So it's not, you know, a monumental failure or exhausting process, but it's just an elegant presentation of something you've already created in your imagination. But the timing's right to bring it out there and, you know, share it with whoever. I mean, it's brilliant stuff. And the human design consciousness is taking the whole other aspect of human design, which is who you are as a unique individual, that every single one of us, every single one of you is utterly unique and valuable beyond words. You know, more valuable than gold and diamonds and any riches. The resource that we have, the capacity to experience life that we have. Even though till now it's been, to a large extent, wasted terribly as we developed our minds. But now you can free up your mind and then really present the fullness of who you are, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, physically, to the world. And you can do it in real life, in your practical life, in your business, with your family, within your relationships. And you can really enjoy being alive as a human being, not waiting until either success falls on your head or you die and go to some better place. No, here's a place to enjoy it. And just recently I've realized human design really helps people. You know, people have talked about heart-centered businesses and heart-centered living. You know, it's all a great ideal till you have to deal with the practical realities, you know, of what's going on in the world. But human design allows you to do that because it's literally all centered around, you know, just to use a jargon word, coming truly from the heart of who you are. Not just your heart and not just, oh, love, but from your true identity. And walking your true path in life. And using the love, your capacity to love. And then using the body and the mind to truly express that. I mean, it's brilliant. But even then, it was like, and seriously, I've got this website, Master Your Human Design, with the emphasis on master your human design. Not master human design, not learn human design, but master your map of who you truly are and how you operate in the real world so you can truly enjoy yourself. And I've been developing that with, you know, just a couple of people really helping and consulting with thousands of people, well, probably 35 years, but the last 9 years with human design, And I'm going, yeah, but if I'm going to leave my legacy, what's it going to take? And this is where I've come to a real turning point in my life. Is really dropping the inhibitions and going, okay, if I'm going to leave my legacy, what is it going to take? And I look deeply at my human design chart, really deeply into it, far more deeply and far more practically than ever before. And I've done a lot of that. And I realized my desire is to really show people what's great about them and how to manage that in a way that they can constantly improve it and share it with others. But to do that, I've got to be in my particular flow. And just to say, in a flow that's natural for me, not the flow, but the flow that's natural for me and flowing with life. But the other aspect I hadn't just till lately realised is, and gather an army. And I don't mean gathering an army as in, nor am I talking about gathering followers. Maybe they will learn from me, hopefully, because I've got a lot to share, and it'd be a waste to let it all just pass by without people who can benefit from it really enjoying it and gaining the benefit. But it's also about, it boils down to this. I work really effectively one-on-one. I mean, I've been doing it for 35 years and I'm very experienced and very comfortable with that and very relaxed with it. And my clients can testify that I'm good at it. They tell me that. And very flexible too. I can shift it and design it for exactly what's right for you. But also, there's this potential now growing in the world of working with small groups. Groups of 3 to 15 and then 3 to 5 and 9 to 16. And this is an evolving trend. I mean, we've worked in groups like that before, but we've hardly scratched the surface of their true potential. And even the way human design has spoken about it till now really hardly scrapes the surface of what's possible here. Now, I have spoken to big groups, but my business partner, Darryl Reeves, he's been doing that all his life, And in the future, we plan to, do big presentations, group gatherings, seminars, whatever. But Darryl can do a lot of that, and I'll participate, particularly if I'm in response, it'll be great. But where I want to go now is to really start doing consultations in a way that works and starting to create groups, like a Navy SEAL team or something like that, small groups and larger groups, and demonstrate the potential that I talked about that when I said we've only scratched the surface. And so what's really worked so far, and I want to share, is that doing one consultation, even if it was a 2-hour, and that's quite regular for me. People often extend and we often go, for 2 hours. It's nowhere near as effective as doing, say, an hour one, and then an hour one, and then another hour one, like 3. I tested this out last month, and it's just extraordinary what people are experiencing and how much more value they get out of digesting an hour and then adding another hour after a few days, weeks, whatever it is, and over 6 weeks doing 3 consultations. So I'm going to, in a sense, make that mandatory unless people have got a good reason for me not to. Just because it's going to deliver so much more value for you. But beyond that, I'm starting to create master design groups. I mean, you've heard of mastermind groups. Great for coming up with great ideas. Great for brainstorming and, melding minds and getting great insights. Not so great for making decisions, because that's not where you make decisions that work, that really satisfy you, that bring you true success, not just, a mirage of success or an image of success, but where you feel success. where you can be at peace and still be incredibly dynamic, and where you experience how delightful a gift life is. And to really experience that, it's going to involve me sharing everything that I brought with me. I'm going to use human design for what human design is brilliant at. And I'm very clear about what numerology does, what science does, because I still have all my science knowledge and keep up to it and blah, blah, blah. I'm good at teaching. I'm good at consulting, very good at it. Highly, practice, thousands and thousands of them. And I make them very practical. And I've done courses and stuff like that, but they're great. And if that's what you want, knock yourself out on Human Design for Innovators and Entrepreneurs. You know, it's a brilliant course, particularly the second iteration. We've just, you know, the first one was like beta, and this is now bang, bang, 50% practical, 50%, you know, telling you about it if you don't know, and really explaining it in a way where human design makes sense without all the jargon and all the, you know, getting obsessed with the detail, where you learn some detail and you really experience something. You know, that's a great, great course. But I want to go better. I need to share what I truly have to offer. And so I'm going to draw upon all of the skills that I've developed over 45 years and the innovations, all the learning. Hey, I'm old enough to be an elder, so I might as well own it. I might as well own it. Not luckily, but through a lot of work over 40 years, I'm in really good health. And I've got 20, 30 years ahead of me, hopefully. That's the plan. And that's what I've got a passion to do inside of me. So I want to share it in a way that's uniquely designed to benefit each person. Now, one-on-one consultation, that's easy. You just bang, you just focus in on that person, use examples out of their life that really matter to them, give them the information which I draw upon human design, but if I need it from any other source, I bring it in. Because it's not about teaching you something you don't need to know. It's about giving you the information you need to know to make the next step, to get things really humming for you, to be able to fully enjoy life and be successful and satisfied and all those things I talked about, at peace with yourself. That's what it's about. And the one-on-one, that's great. But there's so much potential in groups. And I'm talking about intimate, small, connected, where everyone, now theoretically we've talked about that in the past, and I've been to, God, dozens, maybe hundreds of seminars, small and big, relaxed, open, highly structured, male, female, rah-rah and laid back over 30, 40 years. I've taught formal classes in education schools, secondary and tertiary. So I've seen the dynamic that goes on there, but nothing has really got what human design can show you. And that is creating groups where 3, 4 or 5 people or 16 people or anywhere 9 to 16 people can create something greater than themselves. It doesn't take them over and run their lives, doesn't rob them of their individuality, but has one purpose: to produce what the group truly is capable of doing and empowering every single individual within that group to be far greater than they could ever be on their own. And that's the environment I want to really explore now. And I put out an email 3 or 4 days ago outlining that in a lot of detail. Now, some people don't like reading a lot of detail. But I'm putting together a course and pricing, at least initially, more than reasonably priced. We did a reasonable, true value price, not blown up sort of value price on this. And then said, okay, this is in a beta stage. We're just really working with this. And we want people who are really keen, not people who are just giving us money. I don't want to take your money at all if you're not into it and you're not going to get value out of it. I can do the best to give you real value, but you've got to give your best to get the value out of it. So I'm looking for people who really want to be early adopters on the cutting edge, really, or someone who's really conservative but open-minded and open-hearted and willing to get in and do something, because I can take this straight into anything from sport, and I'm talking about major sport, right into business, into relationships, communities, you name it. But to create the first iterations of these new groups, and I'll just give you a quick look at it, you know, just so you can see the design of this. This is the design of a group of 3 to 5 people. It's very dynamic, very focused, and it has one purpose. Those individuals work together as one to contribute to humanity. Think of the Beatles. Think of the guys who did Microsoft. And that's powerful stuff. Groups like this that really know how to operate can change. Imagine if the Beatles kept writing music at the level they were doing it 40, 50 years ago, back in the 60s. God, I was alive then. I saw them on stage, you know. It's like, whoa, imagine if they're writing at that level now. That's the potential of a small group like that when they're living their design, not just coming together and, you know, creating something for a little while and then it blows apart. Sometimes it comes together, does what it has to do and separates because they've got other things to do in their life. But wouldn't it be great to be able to get the full potential out of any group that you're involved with? And then you take it to the next level where you have 9 to 15 people. And this is dynamite. Now that's what it looks like. You've got the small group, small group, small group, all linked up in a particular design with what this person here is what they call an alpha, who sort of oversees the whole thing in one sense, or shares the vision, whatever. But there's a structure. What I'm trying to say is not teach you anything about those things. There are structures for people working together that not just benefit you as an individual, but take everyone involved to a totally new level, create an energetic, a dynamic that accelerates your individual development, where you get to focus on what you're really great at and take it to a new level and let other people do the things that they're great at, and everyone benefits. And also you've got incredible ability to receive. It's so dynamic, it's so attractive, and it's the way of the future. Now, what I've decided to do is create these master design groups. You know, it's an idea I've had, and even that name I've had for, God, 5, 6, 7 years now. And they're about making great decisions, not coming up with great ideas. Mastermind groups come up with incredible ideas. Master design groups will tell you what the energy and the timing is right to do, so that when you'll know when to bring that idea out of the closet and really launch it into the world. In other words, you don't just come up with a great vision, but you implement that vision when the energy and the timing, the absolute crucial thing, is right. That's why I'm doing this video now, because the energy and the timing is right. Not only for me, but the changes that are happening in the world, the need to you know, take all our idealism, if you're an idealistic person like I've been, and bring it right down to earth and live it in the real world and deal with the world as it is, not the way we imagine it will be, because you've got to start from where you are to get to where you can imagine being. And for people who are really down to earth and conservative and, you know, salt of the earth type people, it's time for them to open up to what's possible even for them, because it's not going to deny anything that they think is precious, that they want to conserve. It's just going to enhance everything in their physical life and give them the opportunity to be free of too much. You know, where I live, I see poverty and how it limits people. And I see it when it's in my own life, and I see it in other people's lives in rich countries, and it just wastes so much potential. You need enough, maybe more than enough, to really truly express yourself. And then who you really are can come out. And that's part of the thing that I truly want to do. In fact, a lot of, you know, what I make out of this, whatever it is, on whatever level, and as we develop this, is going to go firstly to the family I have here, who just a little bit of money, wow, has made such a difference, and a little bit more will give them the freedom to truly have a life of dignity. And then to expand that to other people, both Western, Eastern, you name it, because there's a lot of people suffering just as much in advanced societies as they are in poorer societies. Why? Because I get so much pleasure from doing it. Seriously, to give love, I'm getting a bit rah, but honestly from my heart, to give love, to give something to other people, even if it's as simple as money and significant, depending on who you're giving it to, can be incredibly significant. But to give of you who you are is the most beautiful thing, most satisfying thing, most fulfilling thing that I've done that involves purely this physical world. Yes, I've meditated and had wonderful experiences and many other things like that, but in the physical world, to give of who you truly are is the greatest pleasure and no downside if you give it according to your nature and your design. So if you're interested in these master design classes, now this month, April, many of you will probably see this in May or whatever. This month in April, it's available at a really great price, but you can check that out with me. It's literally going to be, you know, not double, but almost double in the next month. And then we're going to stabilize it out at what it's really worth. But for people who are willing to jump in and really help me get this off the ground and make a real difference, not just in my life and the lives of the people I love. The whole focus of these master design groups is to make an incredible difference in your life. If that doesn't happen, the group hasn't worked. And if it doesn't happen, tell me and we'll change it so it does. It's that simple. It's that simple. You have incredible potential. Every human being has. It's about time we started uncovering and demonstrating that in the world. And that's what I want to do in making a difference. Now, for some of you who would really like investing in something like that, we've even got an executive summary of what our plan is for the next 2 or 3 years. And we're inviting investors in for that, just to show that I'm really serious about this. I'm committed, and I don't have to prove that to you. I've proved it to myself in my own life without having to talk to hardly anyone except 1 or 2 close friends. It's like, damn, you wouldn't be doing this if you weren't truly doing it from your heart, living it from your design and passionate about doing it. But if you'd like to participate in anything, a consultation, one of those programs, a master design group, where everyone in that group is committed to you. Why? Because that's what brings out the best for them. And the group itself starts creating things beyond anyone's capacities. I mean, the practical benefits in dealing with your most basic issues, you know, from money to where am I supposed to be, what am I supposed to be doing? Nobody really knows at the moment because the world is changing so profoundly. Even if you've been unbelievably successful to now, you've got to change and grow because the whole world is. So take that brilliant success you've had and evolve it. And if you haven't had it, get rid of whatever's in your way. And a master design group will help you do that. Human design will help you do that without going through massive expenses and, you know, years and years and years and years and years of processing. The beauty about human design is it brings things up when the energy and the time is right for you to deal with it. And you don't have to go chasing it. And because you've got the energy and the timing's right, it's so much easier than all the seminars and all the study groups and all the, you know, work groups that I've been through my whole life. There's such an elegance there. So I think you get the idea. I won't go on and on and on. But I'm inviting you on, participate in any way that you feel would really contribute to this. And know that my heart, my soul, my mind, my body is fully committed to this. As I said, I truly want to have more and more of that greatest pleasure of all, to be loving. To give of who you truly are, not in some woo-woo imaginary way, but in the real world with real people who can really appreciate it. So thanks for listening, and you can contact me. Either the details will be down below or send me an email or whatever. Chase me up on Facebook, look up on YouTube, send me a message. I'll see you soon.